Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is George and I'm your friendly neighborhood anime and manga fan. I love all things anime and all things manga, and I'm here today to talk about Oshi no Ko Season 2, Episode 9. So, what did I think about this week's episode? Frankly, I thought this week's episode was a roller coaster of emotions. I thought it was very emotional in the aspect of Aqua's character. We got to see a lot of his inner struggle and everything that he's had to dealt with ever since, Ai's death. And it seems like all the trauma is coming back to him, and you see just how he goes about it, and the way that it was pretty much illustrated in this week's episode, how somebody trying to overcome the death of somebody that they love, and just how to move forward and all that. I thought it was very exceptionally done in this episode, and I just love everything surrounding this episode, especially that plot twist at the end that I did not see coming whatsoever. So now, before I go any further with this week's episode, I just want to give you guys a quick reminder to make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you guys can be up to date with all my Oshi no Ko, as well as all my anime and manga content that I'll be providing in this channel. It really helps out a lot, and I would really appreciate it if you guys could subscribe to my YouTube channel. So if you guys could, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Now, with all that out of the way, let's get into this week's episode. So this week's episode starts off where we see a flashback. We see a flashback of Aqua, Ruby, and Ai back when they were alive, when Ai was alive. And you see how they went to the movie theaters to watch, Aqua's movie where he played, where he met Akane and all that. And you see that Ai's just like, oh, you're such an awesome actor, Aqua. And it's just pretty much signifying just how even back then Ai had confidence that her kids would be, famous. And we see that then we cut to the present time, which is where Aqua's just, biting. He's busting a Mike Tyson and just biting into a Taiki. I think that's the guy's name, the actor. Into his shoulder. And at first, from the last episode, I thought he was like, he was improvising that stunt. But apparently, no, it was in the script, because the guy just kind of like waves it off. He doesn't think anything of it. So that was a nice little clickbait. I thought it was like, oh, did Aqua really snap? Is my man going like method acting to another level? Like, no, okay, it was in the script. I was like, all right, fair enough. And what we see is that, Aqua's just kind of lost, because remember, he has to, show his rage and all that. That's what he's best at when it comes to his emotional acting. It's just pretty much chaotic, and, he has to be like an unleashed beast. He's just kind of wild and savage. And we see that, Kana even compliments his actors, like, yeah, he's really showcasing, like, this is great acting from Aqua's part, and that's his strengths. And as the episode continues, we see that in Aqua's inner psyche, we see that there's like the darkness, his inner presence, that always kind of like talks down on him. He's like, you can't be happy, you shouldn't be happy, it's your fault that I died. Like, and we see that, like, how he's been struggling with this darkness within inside of him, and we see that pretty much eventually Aqua turns it around, and he's like, no, it wasn't my fault, you're me also, you can't just be blaming me, because you're me also. So we see that the darkness disappear, and we see that the darkness just encapsulates Aqua back when he was a little kid. And you seen that pretty much he's still that same little kid from back so many years ago. And we see that we also, there's this beautiful scene where the chick, the princess that Akane's playing, how she, like, so how when she died, it was very impactful. And they say in the play, like, how she took on the damage from everybody, but her scabbard is able to like repel the damage and heal people. So, and we see that that's when Kana and what was his name, the actor guy, come back to me, don't worry, Taiki, I think that's the guy's name, or Taiki, whatever you want to call it, where they grab the scabbard and they repel the damage, so everything should be fine. And then we cut to pretty much once again to Aqua's inner monologue and his inner psyche, where he's like pretty much has another flashback, but this is a flashback that never happened. It's more like in his inner conscious, it's kind of him imagining all these things happening, which is that he sees Ai once again. And you see that Aqua obviously runs towards Ai and just starts crying his eyes out, and he's just hugging her, and it's like very emotional, because he's just like, I'm sorry. And Ai's like, hey, you think it'll be that easy for me to die? And pretty much saying that I might be dead, but I will live on through you guys. And I think that's my understanding of the situation on that scene. But it was a very beautiful scene where we see that he's just crying, and Kana and them demonstrate how in the real world, while he's struggling with this inner psyche of his, when struggling with Ai's death and all that, he's able to showcase it perfectly in the real world through acting, especially with this scene involving Akane. And it was great. You see a parallel between Ai Ai's death, and how Aqua reacted to how Yoki, I think that's the guy that Aqua was playing in the play, how he's reacting to Akane's character when she passes away. So it's very like poetic, I think. And as the episode ends, you see that pretty much that's the end for the play. You see everybody doing their, bowing down, that everybody's giving their last call. And as that's happening, we see that we cut to how the actors are, acting about the whole situation behind stage. And you see Kana, she's exhausted. She's like, oh man, this was a lot of like, this is stress. I'm tired. And also we see Akane talking to her friends from the reality show from the previous season. And we see that she's like, they're like, you're so great, that was amazing. And she's like, yeah, but I wasn't good enough. And she starts crying because she realizes, like, to herself, she in her mind, she doesn't think that she lived up to the hype, or she wasn't as good of an actress as she could have been compared to Kana as well as Taiki. And we see that, that really eats her up. She starts crying. But in the flip side of that, where Kana, how she was just kind of chilling, like being exhausted, is like, I can't wait to get over this. We also see a perspective from her, how she starts praising Akane's acting. She's like, it was so frustrating. Like, Akane was such a, like, everybody's praising me, for my typical acting. But Akane's acting was like something different. It was something weird. And she was saying like how she, became a completely different beast. Like, it wasn't even just taking on the character of the princess. It was also because she was seeing the characteristics of something else. And we see that something else was Ai. How that's why she was able to perform this, emotion and this performance to drive Aqua to, give it his best. It was emotional acting because he took it upon herself to, act more like Ai, which, helped Aqua's emotional acting in retrospect. And we see that she gets bugged by that. She's like, oh man, I was supposed to like outshine. And we start seeing like how the episode starts wrapping up is that, we see that pretty much the director and the guy, the production, the La La Light Productions guy, they start talking. It's like, yeah, these guys are fantastic actors, can't wait to see them, grow and become even better. And it's just that kind of like them praising about the actors and why not. And we also see that pretty much the guy that was like setting the entire play, I forget his name. I don't know if he's the stage director or just the director. I forget. No, he's not the director. I think he's the stage director or the producer or something like that. But he's the guy that was having a hard time with the manga author at first. But you see how he's smiling because everybody loved the play. That's his favorite part of the day, just seeing everybody walk out and just seeing them with smiles and all that. And how we end the episode is how we see that, the rest of the crew of the Tokyo Blade crew, after they're done with their play, they're like, let's get something to like eat. So they go to the barbecue place, and we see that, at first, Akane is setting everything up, and Akane's like, no, there's no way I want to do that. I just want to go home, relax, lay down in bed. I would not do that. And then as soon as Aqua's like, yeah, I'm down to go, she's like, yeah, I'm going to. So that was hilarious, Kana sticking out with her man, Kana supremacy all day, every day. But in all seriousness, it was funny. And the funniest part was that once they go to that barbecue place, Kana is supposedly getting drunk with ginger ale or something. It's like, it's not alcohol, obviously, but it's just hilarious seeing her, like how she's spewing like all this stuff. And I was just laughing. It was just a fun time. And as they're in the barbecue, we see that Aqua's trying to get information from the director guy. The director guy is not vouching at all. He just gives him a little bit of clues. He's like, yeah, I used to be part of this vocal play and all that, and the industry, he's just kind of giving us some lore dumps about him and his old past, but he's not giving all the entire picture. So he's like, nah. But eventually Taiki shows up and he's like, hey, you know what, I'll get him to talk. So then they go to this club, like a nightclub that's a secret club only for idols and actors, that they can go and drink or do whatever they want to do, but not in the public. They go there, they get him drunk. Eventually the guy gets passed out drunk in the couch. And he's like, well, he's my adopted father, what should I do, haha. And he says how the director took him in and all this. But the biggest takeaway as the director passes out is that Aqua just kind of gives us a huge revelation. It's like, yeah, so I did a DNA test, and he pulls it out. I was like, you and we're half brothers, and not just that, we share the same dad. And that's how the episode ends. So we're like, what kind of plot twist is this? What kind of cliffhanger? So apparently Taiki and Aqua are half brothers, and also that involves Ruby. That's her half brother as well. So very interesting developments. Can't wait to see how this story plays out. But with all that being said, what did you guys think about this week's episode? Did you guys love it? Did you guys hate it? Did you guys thought it was alright? Whatever you guys thought, let me know in the comment section down below. Also, thank you so much for sticking all the way to the end of the video. I really appreciate it. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to my YouTube channel for more Oshinoko, as well as more anime and manga content in the near future. But yeah, with all that being said, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye bye.